So hey, I want to say something. I want to ask you something, Carter, that something we talked about in a private conversation yesterday, if you don't mind, and if you do, that's okay. But only because we
I
were
don't
on
remember what
speakerphone
we talked about.
and we were talking about the election results. And
Oh, yeah, sure.
what you said actually really helped my boyfriend. I don't know if you know this, but it helped
I don't.
him.
What did I say?
Well, I asked you, we were talking about on our last Covfefe break, we were talking about fraud, and you of course were saying, I haven't seen evidence of it. I can't point to it.
Well, I want to be
The
clear. I didn't
anomalies,
see lots of
right?
evidence. I have seen some
Lots of
evidence.
evidence.
Yeah.
You've seen some evidence. And even though we looked at the Benford's analysis and we looked at, yes, these are really very suspicious statistical anomalies in the Biden vote numbers and the times that the Biden votes came in. What I asked you on the phone yesterday when we were just talking as friends, I said, okay, but Carter, in your gut,
Oh, right.
what do you think? What do you think happened in your gut? I want to know what
Oh,
your elephant thinks.
yeah. Do you want me to say it or do you want to tell people
Yeah.
about it?
What do you
Oh,
think happened in your
yeah.
gut?
No. So this is what I told Carrie because she was really trying to get me to say something, and I finally realized she just wanted to know how I felt, which was like
Yeah.
weird for me. So I was like,
'Cause
oh
you
yeah,
don't usually.
in my gut, totally he stole the fucking election. Obviously, like there's no way that Biden got more votes than Obama. There's no way. Like my gut is totally this is a steal. Absolutely. I just don't like going around saying that because I don't have proof of it. I've got some evidence. I mean, I've seen a little bit of evidence. I think it should be investigated. I don't think people should run around saying what they feel just because they feel it. So that's why I don't say it. But do I feel that way? Absolutely, I feel that way. Of course I feel that way. I mean, look, I was telling Carrie, Kamala Harris is from the Bay Area. No one likes her. No one likes her here. There was not, compared to Hillary Clinton signs, there was maybe, I will say a third, if that, as many signs for Biden as there were for HRC. And yet somehow and by the way, nowhere near as many as for Obama. I mean, Obama was all over the place, right? And yet we're supposed to believe that somehow he had like the largest voter turnout in history for Biden. I find it unbelievable. However,
It's unbelievable.
I'm not going to say that it's definitely true. I will say this, though. I will say this, because this got me thinking about this, actually. I think we should be asking the questions of, are the elections fair? And it reminded me of something. First of all, I think most people know that I used to be a cryptographer. I used to be a crypto dude. And I remember a while ago, I wrote a letter. It was probably 15 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I wrote a letter to a congressman, probably one of the only letters I've ever written to a congressman ever about anything. And it was about Diebold's voting machines, because the voting machine at the time, we all kind of knew, the whole crypto community kind of knew, the voting machines are totally insecure. It's totally crap. This is really dangerous, but no one listens to nerds. So I tried to write a letter. I did. I wrote a letter to my congressman outlining the problems with Diebold's voting machines and like, hey, this is a real issue. You can't be using these voting machines in an election. And I got like a form letter back that was like patting me on the head, like, oh, you stupid nerd. They're fine. Bye. Trust democracy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that was the last time I ever wrote a congressman about anything. But this is not. I do want to say this for non-technical people. In fact, there's a documentary about the Diebold thing in particular. I think it's called Hacking Democracy. And the only people that have claimed it was false is Diebold. So there you go. But it's pretty up and up. I mean, I know one of the guys that was involved in it, or I used to work with him. It's a good documentary. It will tell you what was going on with the voting machines and what the risks were. Now, granted, this was 15 years ago, but I will say this as a security person, or at least a former security person. There is nothing conspiratorial. There is nothing Alex Jones like. There is nothing crazy or on the edge or beyond the pale in saying, hey, you know what? Electronic voting machines could be very risky and might have serious problems.
Yeah.
They very well may have serious problems. And there was Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney spoke about this recently with respect to this election. He talked about Hammer and Scorecard. Hammer is a SIGINT program. It's a SIGINT monitoring program that it's designed to just monitor closed networks. And I think the NSA took hold of it. I don't think they developed it, but I'm not sure. They took hold of it. The CIA then got it. So it's in the deep state. They have this. They use it, obviously. They do a lot of stuff, as you guys, I'm sure, know. That's also not a conspiracy. That's just fact. And there's also a program that goes with it called Scorecard. And Scorecard can be used to change votes. It can be used to change votes. Now, was this deployed? I don't know. I'm not saying it was deployed. Is it suspect? Yeah. And there's a video about this that one of our listeners sent me. Oh, hold on. I think I even have. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I'm not going to play the video, but I'm going to show you the video. One of our listeners sent us this. This is a small channel, David Wallace. So plug in the smaller channel. Actually, he's bigger than us now. Go, David. But a smaller channel. But this video's got like 28,000 views. It's a good video. It's called The Hammer and Scorecard. This is part 2. In this video, you can see here's some weird stuff happening. You can watch CNN. CNN is linked directly to the computer system here that is counting votes. And you can watch as 560 votes are deducted from Andy Beshear, the Democrat, added to the Democrat and deducted from the same amount, all in one instance. There's an update to the numbers, and that update is just a flop of votes from this candidate to this candidate, from the Republican to the Democrat. It just takes 560 away from Matt Bevin, gives 560 to Andy Beshear. Now, is it proof that there's something wrong? It is not proof. Is it evidence that there's something weird? It is evidence. That's a weird update to see in real time, that suddenly a candidate loses X number of votes, simultaneous, a different candidate gets X number of votes. That's a weird anomaly. And I am extremely distrustful of any electronic voting system. And I don't know how, if you care about democracy, which I generally don't, but if you do care about democracy, I don't know how you can be comfortable with electronic voting machines. I really don't. I as a cryptographer, I would rather have paper and pen. I would rather have everything be paper and pen. I wouldn't want mail-in. I would want in-person, paper and pen. Is it a nightmare to count? Yes. Can there be fraud? Yes. It's way harder to do mass fraud that way. Way harder. If everyone has to show up in person and it's paper and pen, there's literally a paper trail. These voting systems, there is a NIST standard for voting systems. They don't have, but they not every state adheres to the NIST standard because they don't have to. Many don't. They have their own standards or whatever, or a different set of standards. And there's just not a lot of transparency in this stuff. There's not a lot of auditability. There's not a lot of transparency. And it is completely possible that there is massive electronic voting fraud happening for anyone, either way. And just so that you know, this shouldn't be a partisan thing. I thought to myself, I wonder what the mainstream media was saying 4 years ago. Hey, look, here's the Daily Beast, Carrie. How do we know elections are fair? Hey, that's a good question, Daily Beast. How do we know? Well, hey, these touchscreens, direct recording electronics, which leave no paper or trail, are notoriously unsafe. Oh, really? Electronic voting is notoriously unsafe? Thanks for telling me, Daily Beast. Oh, was this only 4 years ago? Hey, look, you can alter the programs. Hey, these things are used in Pennsylvania. Oh, Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, note that in swing states with narrow margins, one would not have to falsify a wide part of the election. Altering the vote in one or two main counties would very likely do. The reassurance offered by President Obama that America has a decentralized voting system hard to tamper with as a whole is unfortunately undercut by these facts. So, look, 4 years ago, the mainstream media is all about double checking. It's all about, hey, let's make sure the system is, it could be tampered with. This is very dangerous. Now, it's fake news. If you go watch, in fact, that video I just showed you, every YouTube video that talks about voting does this. That video I just showed you, underneath it, I'm just going to show you what it says underneath the video. This is what YouTube's putting everywhere. First of all, they say U.S. elections. They add these things. These two things are not in control of the person who uploaded this video. These things are in control. These are controlled 100% by YouTube. They place them here without permission. They place here. The AP has called the presidential race for Joe Biden. So they're telling you, hey, this guy's talking about elections, but the AP, by the way, the media shouldn't get to call races, but okay. The AP called the race, okay? And then robust safeguards help ensure the integrity of elections and results. Learn more. Stop questioning the integrity of the election. Now, I just have this one thing to say. You know who says to stop questioning the integrity of elections? People who are cheating.
People who are cheating. Yes. And they were doing this in the days leading up to the election, and in the days since. They are censoring the president of the United States tweets. They are putting his tweets behind a warning that tells you they're false. And you have to click on the warning and make sure you want to see the tweet that the president of the United States tweeted. And then once you see it, they don't let you like it. They're limiting the interaction. And they tell you, we're limiting the interaction you can do with these harmful tweets, right? They also have just like that, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are all putting little notices without your permission at the bottom of your post now. And they're telling people, hey, any tweet I've read about possible voter fraud or about the election integrity, at the bottom it says, like a little notice from Twitter that says, hey, learn why mail-in voting is safe and secure. Oh, really? Learn why it's safe and secure? Thank you for looking out for me, Twitter. Thank you for telling me what to think.
Just think about that for a second.
Overlords.
Think about this for a second. This is the idea that mail-in voting is safe and secure is unquestionably an opinion about a controversial topic. Like, you can't argue that mail-in voting is not controversial. There have been half the country arguing with the other half of the country about mail-in voting. It is clearly a controversial topic. There has been evidence. We saw with the Project Veritas video of mass harvesting of ballots, mail-in ballots. And yet, they treat this as if it's a fact. It's almost like they're saying, the Earth actually isn't flat. It's a sphere. Find out more here. Okay, but this is not the Earth and the flat Earth theory. This is something different. This is an opinion about risk management and the risk of having a mail-in ballot versus an in-person ballot. That's something that people can have opinions on, and there are different perspectives, and there is evidence for, I would say probably more for the worry about it side than the other side, but there's evidence for both sides.
Yeah.
But it's treated as if it's a fact.
Yeah.